Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Bella TV. I am your host, Vanessa Coppas, editor-in-chief of Bella, and I'm super thrilled to have our guest with us today, Maria Giambrone from Elevated All, who's going to share with us a little bit about her story, her reinvention journey, and how to get to where she is today. Thank you so much for joining us, Maria.
Thank you for having me, Vanessa. I'm excited to be here.
So let's get started. Like, how did you decide to one day, because you come from a corporate background.
I do.
How did you decide one day, I'm going to leave this all behind and I'm going to pursue this dream and this passion in this business?
By passion, I'm a certified health coach.
Okay.
I love to help people. I love doing things holistically. So even though I was in corporate America, I always did something on the side, coached clients, worked with people with nutrition. And I always did have a side gig going on. So,
True entrepreneur at heart.
I tried a lot of different things. But primarily, I wanted to be home with my kids.
Okay.
I wanted to watch my kids grow. Because I did work in corporate America, I was out from 6 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. I traveled a lot. I did work for very high visibility executives. So I had a job that people would have been envious of, but I hated it. Not that I hated working, I hated not being home with my kids.
Okay.
I hated sitting on a bus for hours a day.
The cons outweigh the pros.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to lose my salary
Of
because
course.
I made a significant salary
Yeah.
with what I was doing. So a couple of years ago, I happened to come across products really during a pretty bad time in our lives. My husband was just diagnosed with cancer, 9/11 related cancer.
Wow.
And we were on a terrible emotional roller coaster.
Can only imagine.
Yeah, it was rough. He's fine now, thank God.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of ups and downs, a lot of anxiety, and we were introduced to this company that I'm with now, and we really weren't interested in it as a business.
Mm-hmm.
But we started trying the products, we gave them out to people, and it just took off, significantly.
Yeah.
All right, so start from where you said you use the products.
So I personally take my Happy Coffee every morning, and I also use the supplement every day. I have found with time what it does for me is that, because I typically had a very difficult time falling asleep, but it kind of just puts me into that, that space where, okay, it's time to go rest and I can fall asleep easily, better than I used to. And then the coffee in the morning gives me, I actually put it in my coffee, and I know that some people are like, oh my God, your triple dose of caffeine, but it's not like that type of caffeine rush that you get. It's just
It's a natural.
It's very natural, and I know that it has weight loss benefits. Also, can you speak a little bit about what the coffee does?
Sure.
Yeah.
So our products together we call dose because they stimulate your brain to release your own happy hormones. And where we get dose from is it releases your dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins.
Okay.
And those are your happy hormones.
Of course.
It's not putting any chemicals into your brain. It just stimulates what you already have, which is what we need. 100 years ago, people didn't have the stresses that we have today. There was, no terrorism in your face and all negativity and everything, at your fingertips. People weren't running their kids all over the place and bills and, so it's different back then than it is now. Everybody's happy hormones aren't working to their capacity nowadays.
Yeah.
So this just helps it. It just helps give it a little kick in the butt to move along and to really make you feel the way that you should be feeling.
I personally noticed that because I stopped using it because I ran out, I stopped it, I didn't get on the auto ship. I know. And I noticed how my mood had changed.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, there's definitely something missing. So I'm back on it, and I can slowly feel like coming back to myself because I personally suffer from depression, and especially during the cold months. It's really
Seasonal
hard.
depression is a real thing.
It's a real thing, and it's very hard for me to get out of bed. It's very hard for me to just get on my day, and I have found that since using this, I feel just a little bit more motivated to do what I need to do.
That's your dopamine kicking in.
So I'm really, really excited about that. So you mentioned a lot, the ability of obviously being able to watch your kids grow and be able to be available for them in this type of business. What would you say to someone who is kind of debating, I dip my toe in this, because it doesn't have to necessarily be your business,
Right,
but some sort
right.
of business where it allows you that freedom to
Yeah.
explore,
Yeah.
the opportunity to just be present with your family.
Absolutely. Home-based business is 100% the way to go. I was scared to leave my job. I waited until
You had security.
I had
right? Yeah.
security, and everybody would say to me, "Don't quit, you never know what's going to happen." But you never know what's going to, I worked at a bank. You never know what's going to happen there. Or if you work at a school, or like nothing is ever as secure as people want to think it is. So we jumped in, I waited a year after I replaced my salary, and every month it just kept on growing and growing. So we did have a nest egg. Just in case,
course, yeah.
the floor fell out on us. But
it was a smart transition.
it was a
right?
smart transition.
Yeah.
We did it. I did grow the business significantly while I was still working a full-time job. And I did it because that was my why. My why was to be home with my kids. I could have made every excuse in the world, my husband had cancer, I can't do it. I have to go to a doctor's appointments, I can't do it. My kids are young, I can't do it. But that was my why. It was, God forbid something happens to him, I don't want to have to come back into the city
course,
anymore.
yeah.
I don't want to have to rely on working for somebody, where now I work for myself. I'm able to work from my phone, I'm able to be there for my kids. So if anybody has the opportunity to jump into a home-based business, I say do it. See where you are, see what your passion is, and then go for it. I mean, there's nothing better than being able to earn an income from your phone and be home with your kids.
100%. What would you say, because I talked a little bit about the coffee and I talked about the supplements, but you have obviously a range of products
We do.
to offer. What is your favorite, or what would you, if somebody were to get started on this, like what would you recommend?
100% dose, which is
Okay.
the supplement and the coffee.
Okay.
And it's not just a coffee. We have functional beverages. So it's hot chocolate, it's lemonade. You could use any of those in conjunction with the capsule,
Okay.
with the supplement, and that gives you the dose. But those products are amazing. But we have a very soft heavy metal detox, which is fabulous. We have vitamin patches. So we have skincare. We have a lot of all natural products that are just fabulous.
So how can people learn more? Where can people find you? Let us, everybody know.
Yeah, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, Maria Fox Giambrone. My email is do you want my email?
Of course.
Yeah, my email is maria at no, I'm sorry. My email is maria@elevatedall.com. You want to scratch that?
She'll fix it.
Okay. My website is elevatedall.com. And you can reach me through social media platforms. I'm always available.
Your one piece of advice to a woman who is thinking of taking the leap, starting her own business, what would you say to them?
Definitely don't make any excuses. Just go for it. As moms, as women, we tend to put everybody else first. And our business, ourselves, we always take a back seat. Do this for your kids, do it for your family. Just do it. Just don't make any excuse and just go for it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.